Live now? Oh, we're live now?
Oh, shit.
Couple bullets dodged on the injury front. What do we want to tote into this week from last week? And Coach McCarthy, not the first one fired. Welcome to today's Cowboys DLLS Podcast, which starts... Tote That Thang Tuesday, everybody. We here on the Cowboys DLLS Podcast where we demand, dang it, that you hit the like and subscribe button.
On it like,
I went
like
full
that.
Rico. You got to go, Dak.
Oh.
You didn't save me.
Oh, my God.
Who's going Landon Roberts on that?
Happy Tote That Thang Tuesday where we want to carry over ball security from last week to this week. No, we absolutely don't. We have updates on Cowboys injury front. We got what does the offensive line going to look like against Detroit. We got all sorts of things to get to today. And I'd like to say hi. My name is Jeff. Next to me is my friend, wonderful man, good football talker, former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Saleh.
Oh, Jesse Holly went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
You know something that I've been thinking about lately
What?
is that there is some woman now
Yeah.
who is probably ugly and
We're off and running.
I don't think you can say that.
no, I can say that. And she's probably like, but she's probably saying it in today's tense that me and her had a thing when we were like 15. And I resent that. So if you're out there and you're saying that you and I had a thing when we were 15 and you were cute back then,
Yeah.
and you're not so cute now at 40,
Yeah.
don't say that no more.
This feels targeted.
I definitely had that at like 12 or 13.
This is very specific.
I think at 15 they all aged well.
Yeah.
And I don't have any that grew up and like, oh no, but like 12, 13 maybe.
Yeah, it was like two, very in particular.
Wow.
That's a weird thing to think of
Don't do
and bring
that.
up today.
Don't do that.
Next
Wow.
to Jesse is someone who has more respect for everyone. Our analyst and X's and O's queen, Aisha Morrison.
I tried.
You try.
I tried.
You do. You succeed.
Do you have any messages you'd like to send to anyone from when you were a child?
All that talking got me somewhere.
It's good. It's a good thing.
Because I used to talk a lot, y'all. Great
Next
talking.
to Aisha is our best Cowboys beat writer at DLLS. Joe
You
Hoyt.
starting stuff.
What?
I mean, he's not wrong. Just kidding, Pop. Respect.
We'll see what happens when Pop calls
Missionaries.
us.
Just kidding, Pop. Respect.
Shout out to KG being in the super chat to start the show. Hola, amigos. How we doing? We're doing great.
Dang.
I'm doing especially great because every year before the season starts, it cracks me up because they always put out the odds for the first head coach to get fired, and it's always Mike McCarthy that has the best odds to get fired. And by God, it wasn't him again. It wasn't him again. Rest
Survived.
in peace to Robert Saleh.
Well, he didn't die.
No, he
His
didn't.
job with the Jets. Rest in peace.
That
I was
died.
going to
Trash.
say you didn't let me finish.
Sorry, my
Rest
bad,
in
my
peace to
bad.
Robert Saleh's. I just took a little break in my sentence. Career with the Jets because Aaron Rodgers fired him. Robert Saleh, defensive coach, who since being hired has led the best defense in the NFL over that entire stretch, just got fired because his offense sucks and his quarterback sucks. And his quarterback fired him. So shout out to Aaron Rodgers having power despite the fact that he's a bad person and awful at football.
Oh, my God.
And bad at decision making and doesn't know how to play modern football. But got a guy who's great at his job fired. Congrats to Aaron.
But
Dan Orlovsky's scared
Wow.
to criticize. Aaron Rodgers, you're a fraud. You're a fake person. You're not even a real person. Everything that you claim you've done for your mental health and your brain, I shouldn't be saying these things because I am a mental health person and I'm above this. But sometimes you got to get down in the muck.
Yeah, go off, King.
Get him.
He just claims all these things like, oh, yes, my ego is gone and I've done this and my crystals told me and I went in the cave and like all those things are badass. I'm super into all of those things. But then every time he speaks and all of his actions are gigantic ego. So you're lying to people about the work you've put in on yourself. Cowboys, though.
Yeah.
Mike
I like
McCarthy's
it.
still here. You
Still
know,
cooking.
Mike McCarthy's still here, still cooking. Still
Really, you're giving Jim Carrey on In Living Color.
Fire
You
Marshal
are.
Bill.
That's what I told you.
Wow. Yes.
I told you I'm black.
I'm about to.
Right? Jim Carrey was like kind of the only guy that kind of on the
Yeah.
no.
No, yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's
You're
that
right.
one. Yeah.
You're-
We
vibing.
claim. I claim Jim.
right.
Yeah.
So I've been pulled
He
into
Do you,
orbit.
do you claim Jeff?
He's invited to pretty
The
much
cookout?
everything.
You're invited to the cookout.
Yeah, Jeff is definitely he'll host one.
Mine got lost in the mail.
Because you're going to bring potato salad with raisins in it.
No,
I
that's
feel.
not what I would do. I'd bring mayo on hot dogs, not
Yeah, I
potato salad
feel
with
like
raisins.
I feel like you bring
And there's not much wrong. It's not a whole bunch.
you
wrong
bring
with something.
unseasoned chicken, Joe.
That's ooh, no. If anything, I overseason it.
with salt and pepper.
Oh.
No, get out of here.
Oh.
People are seasoning their food now.
Two
Yeah,
different chats.
this is-
One from Special K. It's too early for a Jeff crash out. And then Solid Duck love the energy.
Yeah, we love
Jeff,
it all.
Here we go. Jeff loves Dak, but hates Rodgers. Rodgers has a ring at least. But I guess it's personal with him. No. I'm just talking about who's good at football today. Zach Wilson's Jets were 3-2. Aaron Rodgers' are 2-3. Aaron Rodgers got the coach fired when the defense is good. It's very weird. It's very interesting.
But at least Nate Hackett still has a job.
Think about it. Yeah, at least his personal coach has a job.
Yeah.
And Dan Orlovsky, you suck too.
Coward.
Oh my god!
Let's just take shots today. What you
Anybody
got?
else? Hey,
Yeah.
What you got?
take a shot to
It's
somebody.
Festivus. Air the grievances.
You already took your shot. You
No.
took your shot.
Dude, I
already.
took my shot at you.
No, you took your shot at not me. Pop Pop.
Oh, I did take a shot at
Oh,
Papa.
you
But
took
you
a-
two saying that I don't season my chicken. Get out of here.
Yeah, that
man.
is.
I'm a cook for you.
Please don't.
In the chat,
Damn.
take a
It
shot
might
at
be
Please
good.
somebody.
don't. Please don't.
Is it
My-
take a
listen,
shot? Is it take a
my
shot
grandmother
Tuesday?
would say you can't eat everybody's cooking.
Facts. But you could eat mine because it's good.
I
So
don't
you
know
won't
about
eat
that.
Taco Bell. You won't eat chicken from me.
No, I will eat chicken.
Oh, here's this
There's
week's
nothing
bet.
wrong with Taco Bell.
3.5
Sometimes.
yards rushing or less by the
Sometimes.
Lions. You eat my cooking.
Oh, I'll take that bet. This is gonna be easy win for me.
Probably. I'm trying to make it tough. You know, I
Yeah,
don't want to.
I
I don't
got
want to
you.
make it easy for you.
Make it 6 yards a carry just to get the number close.
I'll even go 4.5 yards.
Oh, then we're in.
take
Yeah.
it.
Oh, lock it in.
Gave you a point. It is a take. It's take shots Tuesday
It's a
Wow.
Tote That Thang Tuesday.
and a tote that thing Tuesday.
Oh, and take shots too.
Take a shot at whoever you want in the chat.
No.
Uh,
Yep.
Toxic Tuesday.
I love it.
yeah.
Toxic Tuesday. Let's
Toxic
go.
Tuesday.
Let's
It's
go.
Toxic Tuesday. Good news on the Cowboys injury front. We start there. Kind of worried that Marshawn Kneeland might be missing the rest of the season. Does not appear to be so.
Yeah.
It appears that the ACL is intact. And instead it was a lateral meniscus, which they go in and they go tick, 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 trim that thing off of there.
Trim that thing Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a trim that thing Tuesday. what do
Literally
you want to
from-
trim?
Oh.
Leave that in the chat.
Or a piece of it.
So apparently Marshawn Kneeland will only be out 4 to 6 weeks. He'll be hanging out with Tank. So if we can just keep this thing alive, just stay in the mix a little bit,
Oh my god.
in about a month and a half, Tank, Kneeland, you'll already have Parsons back. Bland will be back. Can we just stay alive for 5 or so weeks?
Like you say it jokingly.
No, I don't. I
But
just
that's
say it
what
with a
you're
smile.
trying to do.
No, but that is literally when you think
Can you
about
go
it.
2 and 3?
When you think about it, like you have Detroit coming up this week, then you go into the bye, and then you have the Niners, and then you have Atlanta after that. Like you want to get to a point where you're probably not going to be leading anything by the time all those guys get back. But if I can stay close, if I can stay within a puncher's chance heading into December, getting a healthy roster back, and you got Dak, so he'll be, he'll still be growing and going. Some will believe that the offensive line to get better the more we keep playing them.
Oh my god.
Definitely going to get better, for sure.
They're going to get better for
He's
sure.
definitely getting better.
They're going to grow
Uh,
as the season goes on.
yeah,
Jesse,
I
that's
know.
what rookies do.
That's what rookies do. You might have a fighting chance at the end of this thing, heading into December,
At the end of the day.
the day going in. You might have a fighting chance to find yourself in a wild card position.
That's kind of what Jerry said on the radio today, which is funny to watch him kind of adjust himself throughout the season because, he wants to sell you on like, yeah, we're going to be better and we're going to be great. And we're going to be good and we're going to be wonderful, except for when he accidentally said, we're going to tell the quarterback to do it by himself. Now it was more like, yeah, we think we could kind of get through here and maybe have a chance to get in there and then go further than we did, which is kind of true, right? I mean, this year's Cowboy team is not better than last year's Cowboy team, and it won't be. But if you found a way into the playoffs and played better on the first week of the play, then who gives a crap?
You can sell that.
Yeah.
You can sell because,
we were a good team last year. We played like butt in the one game that mattered. What if we're okay this year? We get into that game and we play good football.
Or you get better towards the end of the year when you get healthier, like you were mentioning earlier.
When that offensive line gets cooking, Jess.
Yeah.
We know it's going to happen.
We know.
4 kg, man. You see that?
Oh, KG's up in this thing again?
But
speaking of knee injuries, I tore my ACL last Monday playing flag football. Jeff, I remember that you've had a lot of knee problems. Any advice? Yeah, I have some advice for you, actually, KG.
I know what he's about
You
to say.
actually came to the right place. The first injury I ever had on a knee, which has now had 9 surgeries and doesn't bend or straighten all the way, and I walk funny. And people ask me, are you okay? Does your hip hurt? Does your knee hurt? I feel fine, thank you. It just doesn't go all the directions anymore. The first thing that I hurt was a torn ACL. The year was 2005. I was a bad patient. And I returned to the field after 3.5 months without doing the proper rehab. I did not have any muscles in my quad. I ground out every bit of cartilage in my knee, which meant I had to have microfracture surgery 3 different times to try to get all of the stuff back, the cartilage back. And then after that, you're just kind of already screwed. Do your rehab, brother. Listen to the doctors. That's all. My life would be way better. But if I were in better shape, here's one of those things. Okay, it's time for rant number 2.
Let's go.
If anything is different, everything is different.
Oh.
Perhaps I was meant to walk like the penguin. And that somehow motivated me and pushed me to be in the exact places that I had to be here with you today.
Mm-hmm.
If anything was different, everything is different. Marshawn Kneeland, 4 to 6 weeks, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh,
Which is, that's what Mike McCarthy talked about yesterday. Was like, hey, they asked for a timetable. I was like, I can't give one because we thought.
Didn't give one for real.
Because he's like, one, I don't like to talk about other people's injuries specifically, is what he said, which is kind of a weird thing for a coach to say. Rant.
I actually support that. That's one of the things I like about Mike and I hate about Jerry.
That's
Jerry will go on the radio and be like, yeah, we think that he will be able to. And so I'm like, oh, you just put pressure on that guy that if he doesn't go, you've said that he could, and he's a P word.
Well, and we saw. So you going to ask something?
No.
Yeah, we saw with Brandon Cooks because, things changed. Is kind of what Mike McCarthy was getting at, which is why he doesn't like to give timetables because they're like, oh, shoot, actually, now we got to put Brandon Cooks on IR rather than him just missing 1 week. And so I think that's one thing you got to remember about these injuries. Like a lot of people are like, oh, Deron Bland, I saw him working out with the rehab group. Does that mean he's coming back? Well, they haven't even opened the practice window for him yet. Same with Chuma Edoga. Long story short, we're kind of set all these target dates and when things are going to happen, and things change. So just always keep that in mind a little bit when we're talking about like, hey, Marshawn Kneeland 4 to 6 weeks. Like it could be 4, could be 6, could be longer,
could be 8. Yeah, I want you guys to ask about Chuma Edoga every day until McCarthy realizes there's just one guy out here who's like, wait, do they really want me to put Chuma? And be like, Jeff kind of does. It's kind of where he's living right now. And then the other guy is Tyler Guyton, who it sounds like Jerry said he's got a good chance to play against Detroit, which means that he's the starter still, I guess, if he has a good chance to play.
What did he hurt? Because it was like he was grabbing hamstring, back of the knee. Was it knee? Was it hamstring?
Officially listed as a knee.
A knee? Okay.
Yeah, officially.
You know the plays that don't go well for you?
Yeah.
You ever see a receiver drop a ball on fourth down?
Do that.
Yeah.
How often is the receiver who drops the ball on fourth down hurt right after that play?
We call it a loser limp.
Every play.
We call it a loser limp.
All I'm saying is, boy, he got dump trucked on that play where he was hurt.
Yeah, we call it a loser's limp.
That's all.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
But that's good news. I thought there was a chance Kneeland was going to be gone for the year and that Guyton was hurt. And it appears that Guyton's okay. And Marshawn Kneeland will at least play football again this season at some point. So, yeah, you just got to fight, scratch, claw, win 2 of your next 5.
I do.
What?
I was on.
Getting to 5-5
I mean,
and having your whole team ready to rock?
I'm with you.
I think that, you just thought it was funny that
No, you
2
just
and
like
3 doesn't sound great.
No, it just doesn't sound. You said, it just the numbers, the way you put it, just
2 out of your next 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly do think if you can somehow stabilize the offensive line, because I do think they found some things in this game that they can see works. Do that. But in regard to maybe Chuma coming, he's on IR.
Yeah, his practice window hasn't even been opened yet.
I'm tracking that, but like, what was wrong with him again? His toe?
I don't remember.
It was a toe.
It was a toe?
Which was bothering him last year as well, too.
So you would be more comfortable because we talked about it earlier. Terrence Steele didn't die. He was definitely better this game.
Nobody died, as Jason Kidd once said.
Yeah, nobody died.
Nobody died.
You did say rest in peace to Robert.
I said rest in peace to his Jets career.
You would be more comfortable with Chuma Edoga at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard.
Whoa.
And then
don't jump segments.
You do. You love to do it at the end of the
jump
segment.
segments.
We're going to talk about this.
I got anxiety.
Don't jump segments.
I'm sorry.
It's a great tease.
I wasn't trying to cheat.
It is a great tease because coming up next, what would your offensive line be against the Detroit Lions coming up this week? Knowing everything that you know right now, I want it in the chat. What is your offensive line this week? And we'll talk about that next on the Cowboys DLLS Podcast.
I don't know what my offensive line will be, but I do know who my flooring provider would be.
Who dat?
That would be Empire Today, baby. Head on over to EmpireToday.com. Use our promo code DLLS and get $350 off new flooring. You want wood? Empire Today. You want vinyl? Empire Today.
You didn't feel weird about that sentence at all, did you?
No, not at all.
Keep going.
Clip that, John.
You want carpet? Don't clip that. Don't clip it. You want carpet? Empire Today.
That could be too.
Whatever clip that. That's what I do want.
Hey.
$350
Y'all are so
off new
out of
flooring
pocket.
at EmpireToday.com. They make it super easy and convenient for you to get your flooring done. Don't want to leave the house? No problem. Head over to the website, EmpireToday.com. Take a picture of your room, put it on the website, and now you can match flooring to what you want. $350 off. Use our promo code DLLS and head over to EmpireToday.com and get yourself right.
All right, also come hang out with me on the Sleeper app. I wear that thing out. I don't know if there's a limit to the number of submissions that you can make on Sleeper.
You figured out that whole thing where you can start like playing with numbers and stuff like that.
I started moving.
Now he's moneyballing Sleeper.
I started using alternate stat lines. So what you do on Sleeper is you make picks. You know, it could be your favorite player or your least favorite player. And you say, are they going to have more or less than this amount of passing yards, rushing yards, whatever. And you have every sport. Today I actually picked random baseball players I don't know to have less than 0.5 hits in playoff games. And I don't even know who they are. But it was a good return if they don't get any hits today. And so I'm taking shots at it. Yeah, I love Sleeper. Use the promo code DLLSBOYS, and that'll get you hooked up. And the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. And with DLLS Boys, that promo code, you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Check out our friends at Sleeper. All right, Aisha, you ready? Aisha, you want to talk about the offensive line?
Now don't get into this segment and then be like, I don't know which way I want to go.
No,
All right, let's roll.
I have a prediction. About 15 minutes from now, Aisha's going to say, what is something they did last week that you hope they do next? She's just queuing up the tease. It's a Tote That Thang Tuesday. It's coming up in about 15 minutes. But yeah, Tyler Guyton will be available most likely, it sounds like, to play in this football game. The Cowboys offensive line has been quite an adventure this year. It's really weird the way that I view this team because they are 3-2. Like ESPN.com does their little power rankings, and they have the Cowboys 10th. And when you look at the teams that are behind them, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the other teams have worse records or they're not playing good football. Like, you're 3-2. But boy, there's so many things on this team that I look at and I'm like, and the offensive line has been part of that. Where I feel like, boy, both offensive tackles need help. And center and the guards are good. And it's been a little bit of an adventure. But Tyler Guyton goes out. They break glass in case of emergency, and they move the all-pro guard Tyler Smith out to tackle. And TJ Bass comes in the game, and so now you make that last drive and you win the game. Now we're going to go play Detroit. Need to win it. What's your offensive line look like?
Why are you looking at me?
No, you're starting.
Oh, Barnacles. Yeah, okay. I mean,
Barnacle.
Yeah.
One barnacle.
I think your offensive line is going to look how it looked this past week. I think you're going to go back to normal. I think they're going to ride with Guyton and let him play. That's what I think.
I think the most important thing,
I
and
don't-
just for this conversation, and I think we've talked about this. They chose to go down this path, right? You chose to draft a developmental tackle. We know that. You got to get him work. You got to have experience.
I like this. Tear up Jerry a little bit before you answer. I like that.
Well, yeah,
But
I like that.
you now know that you're in case of emergency can work. You do know that, like, okay, hey, if we have to break the glass, that can work. You know that TJ Bass can step in and be fine. You know that Tyler Smith can move over to left tackle and be good. I thought the interesting thing that Brian Schottenheimer was talking about yesterday, and Mike McCarthy kind of alluded to this in postgame as well. They've been practicing Tyler Smith at left tackle 10 to 15 snaps a week since training camp. That includes last week.
It's because they saw their left tackle.
Potentially. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, my point being, like, I think you still need to walk this path. But if you see a crash ahead and you need to adjust your route, on GPS, you can pivot, break that glass, and go off, and then in mid-game or whenever it may be.
I mean, I also want to say, as I was saying before we went into, the ad reads, that Terrence Steele showed some better things this game. I think I don't know if y'all remember before he got injured, but him and Zach Martin on combo and duo was a problem in the run game. I think it helps him get some confidence as well. And then you also, too, another thing I noticed going back and watching this game, that Steelers defense was tired. Like, this run game wore on them a bit more than I think we give them credit for. So, for me, I think Terrence Steele, he didn't die. I mean, Nick Herbig, respectfully, had 5 pressures himself, and the Cowboys team had 7 altogether. Like, he was cooking. He was cooking everybody. But Terrence Steele did have some good reps against TJ. I mean, I felt like it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all bad. And they're finding ways to get them going in the run game with the bubble screens, getting them out in space. Those are things that he does well. So y'all stop being so mean to Terrence Steele.
No, I appreciate it. I thought Terrence Steele this week looked like
More
Terrence
himself
Steele
than
pre-injury for 1 week.
Yes.
In that he was a really nice run blocker who was a kind of iffy pass blocker.
that's exactly what he's always been.
And I will accept that if he could be that.
That's a passing grade.
I just won't accept the Terrence Steele that's bad at both. And so it was great to see him out there run blocking well.
Getting the run blocking going is going to help him a lot.
Does anyone else have this feeling like Jesse's about to go torched earth?
No, I'm just listening.
No, he was listening. He was being an active listener. He looked me in my face.
He's an engaged
He's
listener.
No, and I
communicating.
appreciate it.
He's an active listener.
Yes, he's doing a good job.
Knowing the subject.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you guys know where I stand about this offensive line, so
Yeah.
there's no
What
need
up,
for me to go
DMV?
score.
You don't even have to pick anything.
No, I'm
Just
gonna
let it
pick.
happen.
I'm gonna pick.
I wouldn't change anything.
I wouldn't.
If you were telling me just for Detroit
Yeah.
and not for the rest of the season,
Yeah. Can I tell you something before you go?
Oh, okay.
Can I just tell you
Oh.
something before you go?
Okay, please. I'm listening. I'm all eyes.
Oh,
I just want everybody to not put all their attention on, was it the last play of the game where Tyler Smith started a block and then TJ Bass came looking for work
And destroyed him.
dirted the dude.
Mhm.
And so, like, people are going to see that and be like, hey, buddy, TJ Bass was awful.
Yeah.
If you offered me, this is going to be a really weird thing to say because it's Chuma Edoga. It's a journeyman, mostly backup. That's, not really an NFL starter either. If he were available, I'd make an offensive line change if it was all about winning one game. I think Chuma Edoga would give me a better chance at left tackle than Tyler Guyton does for one game right now. I think that with all of my being, that's how many struggles I believe we're having with our rookie left tackle. I don't think you have an option at guard that can play NFL level football. So I just ride.
I wanted to ask about the Chuma thing because that brings me to my second point. I thought Austin Richards could maybe do some better things at guard. He's looked better at guard, number one. And then also, too, Chuma Edoga looks better at guard, too. So what if they decide, okay, well, then we just keep Tyler Smith out there and then we'll deal with one of these guys at guard instead. But I will say, I didn't think TJ Bass was horrible. He had trouble getting to the second level all during preseason. I don't know what it is about him, like, I don't know if it's
He
the
got
vision.
there
I don't know.
and then missed.
It's he's whiffing. Like he's just struggling there or whatever. But he plays better at right guard anyway. He's not gonna get that spot.
Who can only go to one spot.
Barnacles. I mean,
It's tough. Their offensive line, I thought in camp that they had some depth on offensive line. I no longer think that.
But I think they do. It's just that I don't think you expected for, like we talked about, one of your tackles can be struggling. But baby, both?
How do you?
They're 3-2.
Like
They're fine. I think they'll be all right.
For Terrence Steele and what you've seen from what he's done with his time here, how could you not think that there was going to be some struggle with him? You kind of knew the project was going to be with Tyler Guyton. You knew that was going to be a project.
Yeah.
But for Terrence Steele, you got reps, you got film, you have research, you have hands-on experience in watching him do what he was doing out there on the football field to know that, boy, you were going to struggle at that position. And then you still walked into this year like, we're like our guys.
I think Jerry said it last week, right? Like, did he say it verbatim or did he kind of say it? Like, yes, this year is absolutely positively they're going to figure out what young guys can play and hope that while that's happening, and they're trying to rebuild something.
This is a soft
that
rebuild.
while they're trying to rebuild something, they hope that Micah, CD, Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, Tank, Micah, Diggs, Bland, like that's enough for us to be competitive. And we'll see what happens.
What do you say?
And while we do that, we're going to play a bunch of young people and see what we can find.
Yeah, what do you say April 22nd? No names have to become names. That's I mean that's been the mentality the entire year.
I thought you said that.
I quoted it.
Oh man, you quoted Jerry Jones.
Was that not? Well, when was that?
We
not
thought
telling?
you said something.
No, was that not telling that like no names have to become names?
No, we thought that was like
It was.
It was a bar to be.
Yeah, it
honest.
was a bar that we
Right.
thought you wrote.
We thought you made the bar.
You had a ghostwriter?
Drake.
Jerry is my ghostwriter.
Dang.
And your ghostwriter is somebody we don't want him talking.
Go check out alldls.com for a story on Slow to Go, SLOTOGO. That was something I created, just with Chapel Round's help. But go ahead.
So what offensive line are you? If you put,
I think you leave it alone because I just don't think you have. I'm not moving. I wouldn't move Tyler Smith unless I have a capable guard. Because like what I'm just looking for is the best 5 combination. And if you wanted to make that a math equation, Tyler Smith playing left guard is a 95 or 100 out of 100. When he moves to tackle, he's probably a 65 to 75 out of 100. So I'm just doing math here. I want him to play where he dominates. Unless moving him means I can survive at that other spot and I couldn't before. I don't think you upgrade at guard. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, none of those
like,
guys are as good.
You move him to tackle, you get better at tackle, and way worse at guard, or you leave him alone and you struggle at tackle.
I think the injury to Tyler Guyton opens up the window for exploration.
You add some letters into that.
There we go.
Some extra
Exploration. I think this week you look at different combinations
in practice.
I think to your point, let's see what Austin Richards looks like at left guard while Tyler Smith is kind of refreshing his left tackle, position. And I think even in the game, you go out and because I might be shooting it a little bit early, but I think we're probably all, when we get to Friday, going to pick the Lions to win this game.
You think that? We own
and I
Detroit.
have the bye week. We have the bye week next week. So you have an opportunity to kind of put a little bit more work in, workshop a little bit more things. But I think you start that work this week because when you come out of that bye, you have the Niners and you gotta at least try to finish this thing out. Because if you get to that point in time where it is, you're looking up and you're saying, all right, guys, we have a small window of a small chance to go out there and make this push for a wild card spot. What is the best 5 guys that we can put out there? So I think now is the time that you seriously start exploring the different options that you may have. And maybe you even play with it a little bit during the Detroit game.
When you look at, I'm not trying to go too deep, but when you look at this Detroit defensive line, we were talking about Jim Carrey earlier. I can't say that line, but you've played better.
What?
You've played better.
Oh, I've had better.
You've played better.
Okay.
You've played better defensive lines now with Detroit. They're
I don't
going to
know
do
if
a
you've
lot.
played better than Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, you've played equal
TJ,
to 5
yeah.
times.
TJ
They played everybody.
and Miles
Garrett,
Garrett.
DJ,
I'm just being
Hutchinson. He's in
honest.
that
Like,
tier.
you have weathered some of the early storm with playing those level guys, and also too, like I said with Detroit, they do a lot of blitzing their safeties and stuff like that. So you're more worried about, to me, your tackles are gonna need to do their thing, but those running backs, those tight ends that are gonna be chipping, those are the guys that like really need to make their money coming into this week. I'm not saying we're talking about the offensive line. I'm just saying that I believe in the retrospect, this is a good defensive line. Good defense. I think their secondaries, whatever.
Yep.
But that defensive line, you've seen better to this point. With more.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, might be TJ Watt. They might be the same, but I don't know if Levi Onwuzurike is as good as Nick Herbig. So
No, but you got to Lynn McNeil too. Like they're not
but
a
they also got Cam
defensive
Hayward.
line.
But they got Cam Hayward and Philadelphia and Pittsburgh that played really well. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
no,
I'm just saying, pretending that you're getting like off week and not a D line
No,
whip your
no.
ass.
I know.
Aiden Hutchinson, if the season ended today, is your defensive player of the year in a
Now,
landslide.
But I'm talking about from a
now,
tackle
Jeff, don't do that
perspective.
because I didn't say that. Ain't nobody saying that they're not a good defensive line. I'm just saying like hat on
You've
hat,
had better.
player.
You've had better.
and also from a tackle perspective specifically. Tackle specifically.
Tackles. That's all. I'm trying to find a silver lining so we don't die.
All you're making me realize is they've played every best defensive end in football in the first 6 weeks.
Dude,
and you have
They didn't
not
all of them.
completely
It doesn't get
died.
And they're 3-2.
I know.
It's a Tote That Thang Tuesday. But first of all, I see 72 likes. Look, if you're here, it doesn't even take a lot of effort. Just hit the little like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hate to do this, but or else. It's a Tote That Thang Tuesday.
Okay, David. Okay.
What happened?
Fine then.
Somebody hot?
Someone's hot.
Fine
Botch
then.
ain't here. I'm out. Well, yeah, but he's probably doing something. Botch
Yeah,
Lombardi's a good friend of
go
ours. You should always
yeah,
take in his
support.
content. But are you just doing some hating?
Yeah.
Is that a little bit hating
I
for
got
no
to.
reason?
I'm a little.
Is that a little hating for no reason?
Today.
On Toxic Tuesday of all
Put 'em
days?
up.
On a Toxic Tuesday, we did tell you
Put
to
'em
take
up,
shots
put
at
'em
whoever.
up.
Today is Toxic Tuesday. Oh yeah.
Take
I'm
shots
on.
at whoever you want in the chat,
Yes.
especially at David. Look, I tell you, the hate in your heart says more about how you feel about you than how you feel about us.
Hurt my feelings a little bit.
Hurt my feelings.
It's a Tote That Thing Tuesday. What is something you want to see them take from this last game and tote that forward into the game against the Lions that's next to the Cowboys? DLLS Podcast.
So we were talking karaoke earlier. One of my favorite karaoke songs is Accidentally in Love. And specifically when it's played in the Shrek 2. On Game Time, there's going to be a Shrek rave next door at the House of Blues. You can go get tickets to the Shrek rave on Game Time. You can get tickets to the Lions game. You can get tickets to the Red River Shootout. You can get tickets to Emo Night. That's coming to Dallas. Game Time has such an eclectic collection.
You say it's a cult?
Y'all, don't
You
do
can get
that.
tickets to just kidding. It's got a great collection of things, and that's not even my favorite thing about Game Time. There are so many cool options here. You get to know before you go. I love just that kind of ability to see exactly where you're sitting. There's like Twitter accounts where it's like, what is the worst seat in every single stadium? At Game Time, you could find out right away because you get to put yourself in those seats. You get to know before you go. There's the all-in pricing, which gets rid of all those sneaky price. All those fees that come at the end, which always bothers me. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, DLLS, $20 off your first purchase. Download the app today. What time is it?
Game
time!
Ooh. You can see on the stuff behind us, dude, take the 4-shot. If you zoomed out, you see some of the cool stuff that we got on the shelves back there. That stuff's from FOCO, F-O-C-O.
Oh, this stuff right here too.
Yeah. Use the code DLLS on any non-presale
That's what we're
item to
toting
get
today.
hooked up 10%
So
off.
cute.
DLLS 10. DLLS 10 is the promo code. FOCO.com. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. All sorts of cool memorabilia. Team branded friendship bracelets.
We're good.
That is not your size
We
helmet.
gotta get some.
We're not.
We need to get
Friendship
matching bracelets, guys.
Okay, let's do it.
Jackets, beachwear, overalls. They got something for fans for pretty much every occasion. Set decorations, as you can see. They've donated some stuff here that we have. Go show them some love. FOCO.com. Use the promo code DLLS10, and you'll get 10% off. I fumbled my football.
Yeah,
We're doing a helmet today
I don't.
from FOCO.
This doesn't have like a autograph on it or anything, does
No,
it?
no, that's from FOCO.
You want to sign it?
Nope.
Yeah, you got to put it on
We
too.
can get
though.
a Jesse Holly.
It'll devalue it. Bring the value down.
Jess, you can't devalue this.
Oh,
This is
the-
like $8.
the football.
Oh, I got the football back.
Thank you so much.
John's the man, by the way. Shout out
So
to John.
sweet.
It's Tote That Thing Tuesday. So
Tote that thing.
what we're looking for is something you want them to take from that game, that dominant win against the hated Pittsburgh Steelers that put the Cowboys right back where they belong as champions with an above 500 record. And the Metroplex on their back leading them to glory. They're right back where they needed to be. And what do you want to tote from that game into the upcoming game against Detroit? And let me see here. Can you just hand that to Aisha? Can you just hand that to Aisha?
Whoa, you put Aisha first.
Yeah, I'm going to put her on the spot.
Gosh.
Put her on the spot.
Yeah.
Hey, Aisha, if you wouldn't mind, could you
Tote that thing! Yes. I can't hold it like a baby unicorn. I gotta hold
There we
it.
go. 5 points of pressure.
Just like this. Like
Baby
this.
unicorn.
Yeah, like on Olaf. Like a baby unicorn.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry, I'm a child. So what I would take into next game is the offensive game plan. This is one of the few times that it's felt like the Cowboys were prepared. And when I say prepared, I mean, we even heard Mike McCarthy talk about how they were waiting to set up that screen with Hunter Lipke all day. That's the type of stuff. That's the game within the game. That's the stuff that makes me excited, is you doing the back and forth. We saw the Steelers, they changed out of a lot of what they normally do defensively because you dictated coverage. You were the initiator, and I want to see them do that. I mean, even with the bubble screens, we got to see the motions and all this stuff. Like, there was a plan. They utilized the personnel to their strengths and also to getting the run game involved. So, yep. That's what I'm hoping for.
And to add on to that, it's you saw the motion go up. I think, Joe, you said in a pre-show that it was 10th.
10th in the league.
In the league in motion. And, I'll spy again this week and see if I can't see something. I probably shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah, I know you shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
No, you should say, I'll see what I hear.
I'll see what I hear.
I
I'll see what the streets
dig
are
up.
saying this week about what they may potentially do offensively. I do think the game plan that the Cowboys had last week was one that worked well for them.
Well thought out.
And you saw guys emerge. And I think each one of us had points talking about guys having to step up that had no names and making plays. And I think the game plan gave those guys opportunities to do so. And you're going to need it, all of it, and all of them to step up this week. And,
They trusted it too.
and make a plan.
Is there such thing as that as a
Yeah.
player? You
Oh,
trust your game plan?
When you hear, there's some game plans you hear, you be like, this one gonna work.
Yeah.
Like we like this one. We think
I would,
this
I would
one's
stop trusting the game plan too. If like our first drive, we scripted our 10 plays and play 1 was the kick return and we committed a penalty. And then play 2 was a Brevin Spann forward false start. And then play
Oh.
5 was a Jake Ferris false start, whichever game.
Why
it was.
you ruin?
I'm just saying
God.
that sometimes
Who
I
am I
think
passing
they
this?
might have a plan.
Who am I passing this
People
to?
want to F it up like jerks.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what to do with it.
give it to somebody. You're our Caucasian captain.
Come on, quarterback.
I'm going to do like Travis Kelce.
Ooh. Make love to Taylor Swift.
Call plays for myself, design them on the goal
Oh.
line.
No, don't say
Just
that.
give myself the ball. What did you say?
No, don't say it again.
Make love to Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
Last night, Troy Aikman said, and there's the misses. And I turned to someone. It's none of your business who. And I was like, didn't misses something you say when they're married? They're not married. And like 10 seconds later, Joe Buck was like, Troy, they're not married. I was like, that's right. We gotta straighten this up, Troy. You're going to get in trouble.
Joe's like, hey, listen.
Joe, like, this is not the relationship you want to make a mistake on. The internet will get you. And Troy's like, yeah, I know. My bad. Sorry about
I
that.
feel like he's done that before too, or maybe it was Romo.
He
One of them has
calls it-
also
he
done that.
calls
Like,
them
oh,
the
hey, the
misses.
misses, and
Maybe they know something we don't know.
whoa,
No,
off the
I think-
record.
No, I think he called somebody the missus, and she wasn't
Oh.
his
Oh.
actual. Like it wasn't even his girl. Like it was like another random woman, like in the crowd. They had to come back and say, "Well, actually, that's not so and so's."
Have you guys
that-
noticed to the guy who was in the chat earlier that said we were stereotyping and that's wrong? You're not going to like this. Have y'all noticed how white Travis has gotten?
Extremely,
Please, y'all.
extremely.
Please,
he left that
y'all.
black girl, and all of a sudden he got real
It's
white.
the hair.
He did his whole career with a fade, and now he's mustache and coiffed hair.
Yeah.
Like he is very much veered a certain.
He's got a beer
path.
brand.
It's the whole style is
He was
different.
with he was with his sister. He dressed accordingly. He had Louis Vuitton this, Louis Vuitton that, and now He's with Taylor Swift. He has to switch up his image.
Is that a super chat that we hadn't read yet? Is there one in there, or we're good? We're squared away on that. Oh yeah, we're good on that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Jeff, tote that.
Oh, okay.
Say
Do it again.
So we weren't ready.
Hey Jeff.
Tote that thing.
All right, you guys. I've come up with a brand new concept that I'd like to see them carry over
I'm done with you.
from this week, from last week to this week. I think that when the quarterback receives the snap for the Cowboys,
All right.
he should take the amount of time that it takes to pat it twice
Okay.
and then throw it far. That's what I'd like to see him carry over. 42 pass attempts, 350 plus yards, 8.5 yards per attempt, while you're having to help offensive tackles. That's good. Now we got to whittle down the 3 dumb plays. Well, 1 bad throw, 2 dumb plays. 1 bad decision, 1 awful throw, 1 WTF.
Yeah.
Mike put that on Tolbert, by the way, that second pick.
Saying he just didn't run the route
He
deep
just said he
enough?
didn't make the play. He's like,
Oh, he wanted him to have an arm that was 4 feet long instead of...
He thought that just said point of attack and also the route. He said that was on Tolbert.
Okay, I just thought
Just,
Dak,
I mean,
I thought
just-
Dak overthrew him by a yard and stuff happens.
Yeah,
And, like,
no, just added
that one's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to be realistic because I think
Oh my God.
I just think that's what you have. They are. I wanted to look it up to see if at least the numbers would support what I want them to do, and I think I'm okay here. The Lions give up. They're 27th in the league at how many passing yards per game they give up. So yeah, I think what I want to see them carry over is the cape. The guy who led you on that last drive, I need to avoid a couple of the plays that you had in this last game if you're going to have a chance against the Lions.
Which I think are avoidable.
Yeah. Like
I
I don't think it's normal behavior
It's
to have
not
2
a-
turnovers in the red zone. Like if you pretend that that's a thing, you're just one of those people that hates your quarterback, and
Yeah.
that's a you thing. There's nothing to point to statistically. There's literally no evidence in his career that he's a turnover guy. He's one of the most turnover averse players in the history of the league. He's not a turnover guy. That's what we got. We got Dak. We got CD. We got Ferg. We got Tolbert.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We got
I was,
Tolbert?
I was getting ready to get out of my seat and said,
We got Tolbert.
You don't say Jalen Tolbert.
He about to get mad.
I was going to jump
I
out of the
just-
seat. I was waiting for it. I was
Ooh,
waiting.
you gonna get
I
beaten.
was going to wait for it.
I look at so many of the things about the Lions that when I preview this game say the Lions are going to beat the brakes off the Cowboys
And
this
then
week.
you look with them
So
again.
many things about this matchup scream that. The one answer to that, score more points than them MFers because your quarterback's better.
That's how it was last year.
Yeah, shootout.
PTB2. We had a better team last year.
Facts, but it still felt like score all the points, if I'm not mistaken.
I love scoring all the points. Yeah, it's a
Oh.
great plan. That's why on Tote That Thing Tuesday and on Cowboys Win Because this week, bang, bang. Pew. I forgot that I need that. as a prompt.
Just pass the helmet.
Here you go, Jesse.
Just pass the helmet. And, please.
Hey, Jesse.
Oh,
Tote
that thing.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you all for
Got you.
participating in Tote That Thing Tuesday. For me, what I am toting from last week into this week is fight. I appreciate a good fight. And fights, I want to win, but fights aren't pretty. Sometimes they aren't even scripted.
You didn't ever watch bum fights, did you?
No,
Okay.
no, I never saw bum fights before.
Yeah.
But you know what you're going to get out of a Dan Campbell football team.
Oof, kneecap biting.
They're coming to fight. They are coming to fight,
It's a brawl.
to brawl. And they are not going to brawl fairly. There's going to be no rules to what they want to do. And I think the Cowboys last week going to Pittsburgh, knowing that that's a physical football team, blue-collar type football team, and everything that you are up against. You were down 2 players, 2 big-time players going into that game.
You saying they showed good fight when the divas were out?
Please.
I don't need nobody's brothers and mothers
Oh, we're still trying to build.
texting me.
Follow
You tell me the
tweeting
hero ball
me.
guys weren't out there?
I'm
Please,
just saying
y'all.
that you didn't hear about hero ball in the last week or so. That's Jeff Kavanaugh. You can find him on his YouTube channel.
Y'all so
You find me at the
messy.
house.
You can
or
find him
else.
at the house or else. That's it.
You,
But-
then that black sock came out.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? He look, that's it. That's it
Oh,
right
wait.
there.
Pull up.
Pull up.
Pull up.
Pull up on him, not me. I don't want nothing to do with
Please,
this.
God, don't pull up. I can't fight. I got weapons. I got weapons.
Jeff has long swords.
I do. I got
He
a
has
full. I
long
got a whole ass
swords.
sword in the house. I come out holding a whole sword and a Game of Thrones dagger.
He's got more swords than ACLs.
Yes, he does. He has more swords than cartilage in
That
his
man
knees.
said, pull up. Go ahead, Justin.
But the Cowboys gotta fight. Like this has to be
J. Lou.
The Detroit,
Hey.
the Detroit
dude.
native.
That's our dog.
the Detroit.
Cast
dude.
And he gonna come play.
Cass Tech.
That's our dog.
If there's a mentality that the Cowboys should adopt and to follow, let J. Lou be a captain. Let him lead the pregame speech. Let him be the motivator this week. And even give him one of those "that's on me" penalties. Every now and again, a coach has to go to a guy and say, listen,
Sometimes you got to take a 15.
go F him up.
Trachea punch.
The first one's on me. And I've had coaches do that. Like, oh, listen, we got to set a tone. First one's on me.
Might be.
Go out there and go get the first one on me. After that, we go.
Is that what they told Sam Williams every game?
No, I think Sam. I think
What's
Sam
wrong
was
with
doing
you
his own
today?
thing. I think Sam was doing his own thing. But I've been a part of teams where a coach been like, "Hey, go get you one.
Yeah,
First one's on me."
I get it.
You know what I mean? And I think J. Lou is the perfect guy who go out there and will fight. Like, I love the grit, and you're going to need it. You're not overall with the team that you have assembled right now. You're not more skilled than them.
No, there's so much more
Like, you're just
talented
not
right now.
You just
You
not.
lost some.
You have the better quarterback. But outside of that, you have the better receiver. But you're lacking in a lot of other areas. The only way you can neutralize this thing is you have to have a greater will. I'm about to sound like Michael Irvin now.
Hit somebody in the nuts.
You got to have a greater will and a greater steel to be a greater thrill to victory.
Oh my god.
Hit somebody in the nuts. Sprain.
That was a little too well enunciated. I feel
Yeah,
like
that's
when
right.
Mike is like
Go sprain the nut. Like, go out there and sprain the nut. Fighting. That's what I got.
thank you for the sprain the nut
Oh
ending.
my goodness.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
That
Sprain the
was-
nut.
What you
Joe?
got, Brody?
Tote that thang.
So we kind of, do we have to go to break? soon?
No.
We're good?
Right?
Okay. So the
Clock
thing
is
I'm going to,
flexible as hell.
so I'm not fixing the whole stereotype thing because
Oh crap.
I'm sorry, but as a white guy, one of my favorite songs is "Tie the Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree" by Dawn.
And you want me to eat his chicken.
He's 25%
And you
Mexican.
want me to eat
25%
his
Mexican.
chicken?
He got a little flavor.
We're putting a little
I don't
spice on
want
that
I
chicken.
don't want his pollo. Nothing over there about him 25. And you want me to eat his chicken. And
I
that's
didn't
what he
say nothing
says
about his chicken.
about this Tote That
Four
Thang.
and a half. That's the yards per carry. But that song, one of the things, it's a guy coming from prison, and he's just on the bus, and he's saying, "Hey, like, I just need to see one ribbon in my lover's tree, out there, and then I can come home, and then I can go back to her. That means she waited for me."
That's a white ass song, Joe.
I
know.
remember that though.
So I'm telling you, with this Cowboys run defense, the thing I'm going to tote is we've seen a couple ribbons, I feel like, the last couple weeks, right? But when that guy gets to that girl's house, there's thousands of ribbons in the tree. A performance against the Lions run game, like they've had the last couple weeks, that would be 1,000 yellow ribbons around that tree. I think the Cowboys need to tote what they've done and hope that there's a bunch of more ribbons out there. They shut down the Giants run game. Last week they were sound against Najee Harris, so I don't think that's good.
He's terrible.
But they were sound. There was no hero ball. Mike Zimmer said, honestly, to your point about no hero ball, people are just doing their jobs. And that's kind of the same thing that Osio Digizua said when I asked him, can you translate what you did against the Giants to Pittsburgh? The Detroit's a different beast. But you got to see a bunch of ribbons, and that's the thing I'm toting.
Can I ask you a question, Joe?
Yes.
You felt like you needed. How did you feel like you needed the ribbons to get there?
Because
I
I just like
understand.
using things to transition into other things.
He
And
likes
sometimes I
movie
like filling
references.
space with things that could also make sense.
Okay.
it made sense. I remember hearing about it in the military.
About the old oak tree with the ribbons?
It's been 3
some
long
people-
years. Do you still
Some people
want
still
me?
do it like to commemorate. Like they think it's Respectful.
I support everything that everyone up here does.
Shout
I
out,
think
Duke.
That was a great job by everyone involved except me.
Tell us something, Joe.
That was good, Joe.
We have one final segment in today's Cowboys DLLS podcast, and it is Cowboys have themselves a little bit of a red zone issue. 22nd in the NFL currently. What you gonna do about it? We will do that next. First, I want to encourage everybody to sign up to be a diehard. AllDLLS.com. And what you get, you don't get that helmet. But you do get really cool stuff. Jesse likes most when you sign up to be a diehard that you get a carrying card.
Yeah.
Special card.
You get your membership card.
Get your card.
I think it's more exciting that you get your free T-shirt every year. You get 20% off on merch. Hold on, I have a spam call.
Nope.
20% off on merch, 20% off on all the events that we do.
You don't get spammed.
You do not get the spam calls that I just got on my phone. But you get all sorts of hookups. So we want to encourage you to be diehard. Also want to remind everybody that you are probably watching us on YouTube right now because we're on YouTube right now. But this podcast does get uploaded every day to the audio formats. Wherever you may get your podcast, you can get this and you can hear from us every day. 4 days a week, I guess, and then a pre and a post game. So sign up to be a diehard. Check us out on podcast form. Hit the like button if you're here right now. Subscribe. Those are the things that we appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
I like Lake in the comment, red zone issue. They literally won the game
What?
on a red zone play.
They would have won that game in the first quarter if they would have scored.
Yeah, that's true. Excuse me, I have a thing.
Hey, yo.
I had a thing. Red zone issues. Jesse, you were the one who was talking about it this morning.
You said that you
Yes.
had a rant that you wanted to get off your chest.
I said I had my answer to your question, but I did. I wanted to let you present.
Present it?
Yeah, I want to let you present.
Yes.
Well, when you look at the Cowboys and what they are right now, the 22nd in the National Football League in the red zone, converting touchdowns at a 44% rate. And Aisha just mentioned it. When you watch that game, they haven't had issues moving the football up and down the field. Where they have had the issues is that when they've gotten into the red zone, they have not been able to convert. And I would say you've been lucky, and I don't want to say because of the other team, but you haven't been forced to really have to go score the ball. And we saw what that looked like when you had to go against Baltimore, when you had to go against the New Orleans Saints. You weren't able to match their point total point for point because of those red zone woes. And to me, it is something that you got to get better at. There's no way that you're going to have a realistic chance because you don't have the firepower to score from 40 and 50 yards out. You're not throwing the ball vertically down the field enough. You're not taking that many 50-50 shots. You don't have a home run hitter in the running back position where once he breaks through the first and second level, he can outrun the safeties and get to the house in 45 yards, 50 yards, right? CeeDee Lamb is great when he makes those miraculous plays, but for the most part, you aren't, to your point, tap that 2 times and letting that thing go.
Pat it. Just pat it 2 times.
Just pat it 2
Yeah, pat
times.
it. You still do it. You just pat it and throw it harder and lower.
Yeah, but you're not going very vertical with it. You're kind of going semi hitch routes, Harvey routes, curl routes, and you're hoping that they can convert those into
We love those routes.
longer plays. So for me, if you're not having that explosiveness from your offense from 30, 40, 50 yards out, when you play against the better football teams, you got to be able to be more dominant, more efficient, more effective in the red zone. Now, does that come in the form of play calling, playmaking? And this is where I wish and hope for bigger targets. Because when you have bigger targets,
Flournoy and Brooks.
no, and maybe that goes into the game planning, right? Like when you get into red zone, have more packages where these guys are viable options, where you're inserting them in there and giving them a chance to be big targets, back shoulder fades, corner of the end zone fades, back of the end zone, places where now Dak doesn't have to be so precise and so accurate because all the targets are 6 foot and under that he's throwing the ball to in the red zone.
Yeah.
And if you are gonna do the 6 foot under people, then cause some conflict. Get those speed guys that can, because it's a tiny like tick of time, right? It's like it's not a whole bunch of time down there. So if you're not gonna, attack deep downfield, I will say they did put some explosive plays kind of on tape this past game with Kavontae Turpin during this down the seams, Jalen Tolbert. I think that they are trying to find ways to push the ball downfield a little bit that might open up things, or Detroit might actually give a damn about going into this game. But if you're not going to have bigger targets like you're talking about, you need to cause conflict down there. But your offensive line just got to be better down there too. Do you think some of the red zone issues are just your inability to run the ball consistently down there at this point?
Ain't that why they put? Never mind. I don't even want to.
Yeah,
start.
that's what.
I don't want to start.
I'm not trying to make
for
a
that.
scene.
No, I don't want to
They're
start.
running
the
over.
drama.
No. I think there's lots of different things in the red zone. Like I have one, I guess, main overarching thing, but there are factors and exceptions. Like I'll never miss an opportunity to take a shot at the Eagles. Like sometimes when the field gets shorter and you can't read a defense or throw a football very well, you will start to struggle. Like the Eagles have to score on tush pushes and run plays. And if you sort the NFL by completion percentage, once you get inside the 10, like Jalen Hurts can't complete a pass anymore because he's not a good quarterback. So like in that scenario, I can easily explain what happens with a team in the red zone. For the most part, I'm also a data nerd, and Bill Barnwell points this out. For most teams, their red zone efficiency, if it's way out of whack with how good their offense is everywhere else, just wait. The good offenses will start scoring. It will happen. For instance, in the NFL today, the Chiefs are now up to 30th in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think they're going to be 30th at the end of the year? Probably not. I pulled some other rankings because it's just Cleveland is third.
But probably, and the reason why I say probably is because
Cleveland's third.
They have explosive plays. Like they're going to use Xavier Worthy for explosive plays. So they're going to score the ball from 40 yards out, right? They have players and plays where they get the ball in a certain guy's hands and he can take it to the house 50 yards away. When Isaiah Pacheco comes back, he can run the ball in 30 yards out. So they may end out the year being in the back half of the league in red zone efficiency because they don't take many trips down there because they're scoring the ball at a higher clip than.
But what does that have to do with now we're here?
Can I jump in?
Of course you can.
That's just saying that they will score more from further away and be there less. But once you're here, if their percentage that they score is still 30th, you would say they're bad at the red zone.
Right, but if
I'm going to wait until I finish.
If we're talking about the numbers of it all, if we get to week 14 and they've only been to the red zone 9 times. Right? Like that's a small sample size of numbers.
Okay, then you wouldn't be worried about 3 of 9 or 4
because I'm like, well, they're still scoring points. Now if we get to towards the end of the year and it's a large number of red zone trips with a small percentage of success.
Yeah.
Now to me that's an issue. So like that's the part is that when we get to the end of the year, we'll be able to look at the number of it all. The Cowboys usually end the year with a high number of red zone trips, low number of red zone conversions, opposed to being the opposite end where you're still scoring points, but you're not taking a lot of trips into the red zone. And so the conversion rate to me doesn't really, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought up what Bill Barnwell said because look what happened last year. What was the biggest issue with the Cowboys offense 5 weeks into the season last year?
All of it.
No, it was specifically red zone.
Okay.
It was specifically red zone issues, and we were asking Mike McCarthy every single week about it, and he was getting extremely frustrated because one thing he kept saying was, yeah, I know it's not good right now, but it will get better. It did get better.
It did.
And I think that's one thing with this Cowboys offense is give it time, to your point. Also, I mean, I think you're going to have guys make more plays, frankly. I mean, you mentioned height or the lack of height. I mean, it's CeeDee Lamb and then Jake Ferguson, the 2 guys you're going to really focus on. You're going to try to not let them beat you, and then it's who, right? I think you need to see a guy like Luke Schoonmaker try to make some plays. And he blocked really well last week. I think you need to see him step up in the red zone. Look at the Ravens offense with how many tight ends they have working. So give it some time.
Actually are good though.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like
Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, like those guys are.
What are you saying about the Cowboys tight ends?
I said it already. Remember we had it on. we got it on repeat. Yeah. Trash.
I'm just saying he needs to take a step.
Yeah.
He was a second round pick last year. You need him to take that step.
There you go.
So
What?
That's what I said about him.
You know what he said.
That's what I said about him.
You
Luke Schoonmaker. That's what I said about Luke Schoonmaker.
John's just doing it. No, he's just hitting the button based on what it.
Appreciate
I
you.
just expected so much.
I do think that obviously when the field tightens down like that, it would be nice if they would be able to consistently run block and be able to punch things in. And obviously last year they had challenges with that. And then this year from the 1 yard line, handed it to Rico. It didn't work out so well.
I still think that was just an incredible play by the guy, to be honest with you.
It was a great play. I mean, he literally
yeah.
was just like, I hope to God I have this timed right and I'm going to jump over this line and see what happens. And his helmet hit the ball. It was
really
insane.
nice.
Yeah, but if Rico just
Followed Lipke.
stayed the course.
Yeah, if he just followed Lipke, he would have
like,
scored.
I don't know why you did that. Like, that wasn't like, maybe you wanted to do it for the aesthetics, but all you had to do was just stay with the play.
Rico's got some good bursts, some good acceleration, and some
Bad
iffy
vision.
eyes.
Bad
But
vision.
that's it. That's what we got right now, okay? But yeah, that would certainly help. All right, thanks everybody for stopping by. Hey, on the way out, hit the like and subscribe button. What day is today? Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
We'll see you guys on Thursday. Happy Tote That Thang Tuesday. And remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingency.
And the
We all silly like the mayor.